Welcome, everyone, to the Credible Nerds podcast. Today is May 16th, 2022, which coincidentally is also the 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones. So we'll be talking a little bit about that, as well as day 2 of Star Wars Celebration Anaheim 2022, which is just in a couple of weeks coming up. The Credible Nerds will be there, and we're looking forward to it. We're excited to go hang out with all the Star Wars fans and catch up on the latest Star Wars news there. So we'll be doing some live reviews. I don't know how many, but we want to get in at least a couple and just talk about our experience while we're there. So look for those coming up in the near future. But my name is Justin, and I have my fellow Mandalorian with me, my fellow bounty hunter. We have Aidan.
Hey, nerds.
And he's wearing his bucket that he's going to be cosplaying at Star Wars Celebration starting May 26th, which is the Thursday, day 1. And he has been preparing his costume his armor for the last few months, right? I think we talked about it last time. But he's got his helmet on. He's going to submit his photos to the Mandalorian Mercs and see how it goes. So when will you be submitting the final photos to them?
Well, I'm hoping to be able to do that this week. Basically, all I have to do is take the pictures and submit them. I have a couple of things that I think they might ding me on that I might get for tomorrow. I'm planning on taking some pictures tomorrow. I just want to get it done as soon as I can, see if I can get approved beforehand. If not, I'm still going to bring this there and have as much fun as I can with it. But I've worked pretty hard on it, so either way, I'm proud of what I've done. I think it looks super cool, super real. So I'm stoked either way.
Yeah, and I'll be trying my Jedi robes on, see if I can get them fitted. It's been a couple of years since I wore them, so I might have to make some alterations, but I'm looking forward to sporting those. And nothing fancy, just normal brown, light brown, dark brown type stuff. So, but it's fun to cosplay. Worn them before to Star Wars Celebration, and it's pretty cool just to hang out with everybody. So we'll be there. Look for us. Say hi if you see us. We'll say hi to as many people as we can because we're looking forward to it. So we did mention earlier that this is the 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones. It's one of the Star Wars movies that I enjoy. I've always been an advocate for the Star Wars prequels. My other Star Wars friends, they kind of look at me weird that I'm so pro prequel. And Attack of the Clones, I went and saw it in theaters when it was released 20 years ago. We did a midnight release with me and one of my friends and enjoyed it. And I went back and saw it a couple more times in theaters and seen it multiple times on DVD and all that. So I enjoy watching it. I know a lot of people, for them, this is the weakest film or one of the weakest films of the Star Wars saga. But for me, I've always enjoyed it. It brings different things that we don't get to see in other Star Wars movies. For you, Aidan, what do you think of Attack of the Clones 20 years later?
Well, I grew up with this movie. This is the first movie that came out during my lifetime, so I've always had a deep appreciation for it. It's one of my favorite movies. I know that's blasphemy to say in the Star Wars community, but I think, in my opinion, and it should be a lot more people's opinion, it's one of the best Star Wars movies for what it brings to Star Wars. I think it's one of the most pure instances of Star Wars, besides A New Hope, of course, because that is Star Wars. But this one, you really get to see how much it could bring, how much is involved. There's a whole arena full of Jedi fighting droids, and that's war. That's Star Wars, and that's what I'm excited for this celebration. Is just seeing people celebrate it as much as I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, in A New Hope, the first Star Wars movies in theaters, we heard Obi-Wan say, he fought in the Clone Wars, and everybody's like, "What? What's that?" And we never saw that till this movie came out. We saw what the beginning of the Clone Wars was, who the clones were, where they came from. And I know for some people it didn't match up to their headcanon, but George Lucas is the ultimate decision maker in this Star Wars universe, and that's what he decided it was going to be. And I liked it. I liked seeing the clones show up and like you said, in that arena battle and just help the Jedi take out the battle droids and rescue Anakin, and Obi-Wan and Padme are heroes. So a lot of great things about that movie. I did do a post quite some time ago, a few years ago, about why Attack of the Clones is a great Star Wars movie. You can find that blog post on our website, crediblenerds.com. Just do a search for it, and you'll see, I think there's 15 points I made that make it a good Star Wars movie, stuff we don't see in other Star Wars films that are unique to this film. So go check that out. We've also done a podcast episode, an audio podcast episode about that. So that's available too. But so on to Celebration Day 2. We talked about Day 1 last time, which is the Thursday. And Day 2 is Friday, May 27th. And for us, we have a 4-day pass. We got those passes in the mail the other day, activated them, so we're good to go with that. But this year they are doing a panel. I think it's a lottery is what they're calling it. And for the main, there's one main panel every day. And last time we talked about the main panel, which was kind of all the shows and movies that are going to be coming out from Star Wars. And today's panel, I'm not as interested in, but I would go if we ended up winning the lottery for it. It's called Light and Magic, and it's a sneak peek at the recently announced Disney Plus documentary series Light and Magic. And Lawrence Kasdan will be at that panel. And he's, he helped write Empire Strikes Back, helped write Return of the Jedi, helped write Force Awakens. So he's got some Star Wars cred, you could say. And he'll be there for that panel. And it'll be interesting. But of the main ones that they're doing lotteries for, I think it's one of my I'm least interested in that one. I don't know, Aidan, what do you think about Light and Magic? Is that something that you would be wanting to go to?
It's kind of one of those things that it wouldn't be my first choice, but it does sound interesting all the same.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to go a lot into, because it's documentary, or it's a panel about a documentary series.
Yeah.
Got there. And I assume it's going to be about how they make Star Wars beyond the directing and stuff like that, like the effects, lights, just the production of it all together, which is a huge part of Star Wars. That was kind of the coolest thing about Star Wars, was how into the future those effects seem. And even still, they hold up. Like, you can tell it's from the 70s and 80s, but it's still bearable to watch compared to like old Star Trek. Even as much as I hate to say Indiana Jones, which was made by the same guy, same company.
Yeah.
But the effects in Star Wars, the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, they both hold up so well. And this documentary, I assume, is going to tell us how.
Yeah. I would hope there's something new, because, there's been documentaries about the special effects and the magic of Star Wars since 1977, 78, or whenever that first one was produced. So there's been one pretty much every year that a Star Wars movie came out. They would do it behind the scenes and show us all the cool stuff that they, because LucasFilm and Star Wars, they always created technology to use to film the films. So they've always kind of done a documentary about that process. And I hope this, mixes the old stuff that we've seen, but also, mixes it with things that we haven't seen, we don't know about. Like, I'd like to see some surprises in this documentary, in this panel.
Right.
And I would imagine that they would, if they're having a whole panel about it. On the main stage and streaming it to 2 other stages. So I would think it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be, kind of combined with the old stuff that Lucasfilm ILM had compared to Disney ILM.
Yeah.
Because those are 2 different things, just budget-wise.
Right.
So I imagine it'll be a lot of the new stuff, especially, like focusing on Mandalorian. I imagine some stuff from Kenobi. Probably not a ton, because it's not.
Well, it'll come out that day, so maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And I imagine also for the past couple of movies, because it has been a few different ways they've filmed the recent movies and TV shows that we haven't got. Like, we get the behind the scenes that come with each series and movie, but I'm sure there's plenty more that they can bring to light.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll do a section or a part about the volume, which they've used for The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett and Kenobi. So, yeah, I'm sure there'll be a lot of content. And it does say documentary series, so it's not just going to be 1 2-hour thing or an hour. It sounds like it's going to be multiple episodes, if it's a series. So that'll be cool.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I wonder if they're going to do it like each episode is focusing on a certain like movie or series
or era,
or even like I don't know the word, like way they did something like a different type of technique for each episode.
Yeah, so if you're into that technical stuff, which I never, like, I was thinking about this earlier a couple days ago, that you can watch a movie and then watch a documentary about how they make it, and you're like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. But with Star Wars stuff, they do the documentary and you want to know more. You're like, oh, that was cool. What's this technique? You want to learn how they created it, how they filmed it, the style, who's behind it. Like, we know the names of these people who, like John Dykstra and Richard Edlund and all these guys who like created this technology. We know their names and like their history and what films they worked on after that. But I couldn't say that about another film series like The Matrix. I mean, there was some pretty cool stuff with The Matrix. They broke, so there's some technology barriers there, but I don't know those guys' names or follow them or anything like that. So, but with Star Wars, you like see that behind the scenes stuff. You're even more curious. You're like, oh, that's awesome. I want to know more. And you buy the books. There's tons of nonfiction books about the making of The Empire Strikes Back or whatever. And so I always buy those books and try to learn more. So it is light and magic, something that a lot of people are enthralled by. So
yeah, I think what I would be most excited to see in this is the new filming technique or the new set design technique that they're implementing, where they have like the main stage, but then it's this big, basically like screen behind them. It's not a green screen or anything. It's an actual like
video screen, the volume.
Yeah, exactly, like you were talking about. How they make that look so real, because every time I watch it, I'm like, I know how they filmed this, but why doesn't it look like that?
Yeah.
And that's post production and stuff like that, but I want to know like what goes into that, because that is so cool. It brings another dimension to it, where you're not looking at that like, oh, was that blue screened in, or like you do with Revenge of the Sith, where pretty much everything was blue screen. So it'll be, I think that would be the coolest thing they could bring to that panel.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, that's it's at 11 a.m. I think one of the first ones. There is one at 10:30. Luke's hand in the STEAM classroom. The use of prosthetic hands and limbs in Star Wars is a common theme, so they'll talk about that. And so in looking through the different panels, there's a couple. I think again this whole day is like, there's a couple that I'm interested in, but there's not a lot that really stand out for me anyway. There is one making an action figure. I've been a collector for years, since 1978 basically, when I got my first C-3PO and R2 action figures. But this modern prototype, so kind of the modern, I would imagine the Black Series, the Vintage Collection, and things like that, which would be, I don't know, interesting because of the subject matter, but like, really, what is the...
Yeah, how are they going to present that?
Like, we know the process, basically. So hopefully there's something more than just what we already know.
Yeah, and at the same time, they have, obviously I'm interested in this, but the history of Star Wars cosplay.
Right.
Especially, I have no doubt that the Mandalorian mercs are going to have a huge presence in that one. because they've been around for a good minute now, and they're some of the most recognizable. Them and the 501st are the most recognizable cosplay groups. I mean, the 501st was commissioned for The Mandalorian in the final scene in season 1, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, you have cosplay that's so realistic, and I think this will be a cool panel to see. But also at the same time, I feel like it's going to be it's either going to be super interesting or super uninteresting.
Yeah. Stuff we already know.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully it's the latter. It's that it's super interesting. So seeing the world through a Star Wars lens, I think I do that anyway. Like everything is like, oh, how does that relate to Star Wars? So that could be good. Summer of Lego Star Wars at 12:30. Lego and Star Wars have pretty much become synonymous together. So that'll be interesting to see. What summer are they talking about?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's tap on it and see what they say. Anything?
Yeah. It says Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga video game. I had no doubt that was going to be in it.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, how can you enjoy Star Wars Legos this summer? Is what it looks like.
Yeah.
So, which we know we have the game.
We have the game.
We got
the sets,
some new sets, like we talked about last time on May the 4th. Aidan got the hookup, came home with the bag.
I got us big bag.
Yeah, big yellow bag. Lucasfilm Publishing. That's one of my probably lesser known things, is Lucasfilm Publishing the books. I'm a big fan of the books, the comic books, and the artwork. So those are kind of my guilty pleasures. But for me, the books have kind of fallen off the last few times. I've read Master and Apprentice, which was, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon pre-Phantom Menace, and they tied in Dooku's training of Qui-Gon. There's some interesting parts, but overall it kind of fell flat for me. Just the mission they went on wasn't that interesting. And then there's been a couple other books that I've read. I just can't get into them. There's some good parts, but it's not very engaging for me. So I struggle with that. So I want to go to this panel and see, hey, this is what's coming out. This is what to look forward to. I have enjoyed the comics. I haven't read all of them. Kind of slacked off the last year or so, but I was reading on the Marvel app on my iPad, so that's cool. Hopefully they have some new comic lines coming out too.
Yeah, that one will be super cool. Like you said, the new books are, I'll admit, I've not finished a single one of the new generation.
Yeah, there's a couple that I stopped reading because it was boring.
Yeah, but the old books, I'm there with you. Those are like my favorite books of any book. Were the Republic Commando series and the Bane series.
Yeah,
both of those are just phenomenal. They're so engaging. There's so much to explore in those shoot-offs, and they did it well. But also, like you said, the comics, especially the Darth Vader comics, recently have been so good.
Yeah,
explain so much that we all wanted to know, we all wanted to see, and I think comic books are a perfect medium for Darth Vader.
Yeah, for Star Wars, because it's a visual thing.
Right.
The books, you have to have a pretty creative writer to be able to describe something on the page that you can imagine in your mind that matches up to what we know about Star Wars and think about Star Wars already.
Yeah, especially, coming from an established universe that has not very specific rules, but it's got rules that you have to follow, otherwise people won't read your book.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a difficult task, that's for sure. The Toys That Made Us, I believe that was a series on Netflix or some streaming service. And it's Star Wars, a 5th anniversary look back. So they'll probably be, it says that they're going to be looking at some stuff that's been cut out, edited out from the series. So be some behind the scenes stuff. So that's interesting. I watched a couple episodes of that and I've liked it. So then there's a panel that I'm somewhat interested in. I know a lot of people have issues with Rey. She's not my favorite character, but I liked her. She was a good character to follow through the sequel trilogy. And there's a panel about how Rey defined a new Star Wars generation. And I'm not that new Star Wars generation, so this panel may not be directed towards me, which is fine. But I like Rey.
I agree with that. I have my opinions, and I'm not going to go into them.
Yeah,
Um,
which is just fine. You can have a different opinion.
I think she should have filled a different role in the series, but I do not dislike her as a character, and especially Daisy Ridley. Like,
Yeah,
she did a phenomenal job with what she was given, and her as an actor deserves no hate. But I do not. I wish Finn and Rey were switched characters, because that's what we were led to believe. But I like Rey all the same.
yeah, yeah. One of the many misses of the sequel trilogy. Probably the one panel that I am interested in going to see is Star Wars Attack of the Clones 20th anniversary celebration.
Of course.
Friday at 2 p.m. celebration stage. And it is one that will be, if you can't get into the main one, it will be streamed to two other ones, or looks like, well, maybe just one other one. But so yeah, celebrating, revisiting Attack of the Clones for the 20th anniversary. We went to the one for the Phantom Menace, Star Wars Celebration Chicago. They did a similar panel. That was cool. They didn't have any big names. I think they had Ahmed Best, which was cool.
Yeah.
I would think that was his first convention appearance in a while. And then was Ray Park there? I can't remember.
Ray Park was there.
Yeah, and it was a good panel. No huge names like Qui-Gon or Liam Neeson, obviously.
I don't imagine we'll see him at a celebration.
Yeah, maybe someday when he gets old and stops doing all these crazy action movies.
Exactly.
I mean, he already is old and he's doing these intense action scenes. So good on him. But eventually he'll have to calm down. So maybe he'll start coming to these and we can get his autograph a couple of times.
I would hope so.
Yeah. So that one looks cool. What else for you, Aidan? Anything popping up?
There's a wedding going on with the Mandalorian mercs.
I saw that. Yeah.
I don't want to go to that, but I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Yep. I think one was it Celebration 5 where Steve Sansweet married a couple in his Star Wars pajamas, or I don't know if they were pajamas, but like this suit that was made out of Star Wars bed sheets or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the vintage bed sheets or something. It was some crazy cool Star Wars get-up costume or suit that he was wearing, and he married a couple there at Celebration. So it's probably something like that.
I guess that's a new goal of mine.
Yeah, get married at Celebration.
Yeah. Another one that I'm pretty interested in, and I'm sure you will be too, is Hasbro Star Wars panel.
Yeah.
If you don't see the wall behind him, he's got plenty of Hasbro Black Series and I guess just the normal line up above him. But, Hasbro brings us Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's like Lego Lego is linked with Star Wars, so is Hasbro there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think of when I think of Hasbro. It's just Star Wars, nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably one of the first brands you think of when you think Star Wars, outside of the movies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The commercial swag or product, is Hasbro.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious to know what their plan is for the future. We didn't get hardly any Rise of Skywalker figures. We still haven't gotten that sick Emperor Palpatine or Darth Sidious figure from the end of the movie.
Right.
Hardly any figures were released for that. And the ones they did release were pretty cool. But we got Dark Rey, we got Zoe Bliss.
Got the Sith Trooper.
So they did have some good ones.
Yeah, at least they had the Sith Trooper.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the coolest one they could have gotten.
Yeah. But not a lot they didn't round it out very much.
Mm-mm.
It was disappointing. And a lot of the stuff are kind of I don't know if they're repaints. I think they are new sculpts, but characters we've seen.
I heard Chewbacca was a repaint. just the same mold from Solo, and they just put a different bandolier on him.
Yeah.
And call it good.
Yeah. They did repackage a lot of. They have that new packaging style, which I think is pretty cool for the Black Series, the 6-inch Black Series.
Oh yeah, where it's got the slanted side now, and instead of the flat one.
Right. That's more decorative, I guess. But they're going to start. They're taking away the plastic from their packaging. That's their new thing. For I don't know if it's later this year or next year, but so how are we going to see the figure?
Yeah.
Are they just going to have a picture of it on the box and we have to trust that it's in there and it looks good? Or are they going to not have a plastic shield and people can just rip it off?
Take the figures.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's going to change collecting.
Yeah.
Because the whole point is if it's in the box, the figure is protected. You can see it. It's a good display.
Mm-hmm.
And if they take away the plastic, are they going to put glass in there?
Yeah. Yeah. How are we going to see it? I mean, if there's nothing there, that's cool, but you're going to get dust in there. And
yeah, the figures aren't going to stay pristine that way. They're going to get faded from the sun. They're going to get dust all over it. You're going to have to blow it, touch it.
Mm-hmm. So maybe they'll address that at this panel on Friday, 3:30.
I guess we'll see.
Hopefully they'll have some new reveals. They haven't announced any Hasbro exclusives. The last celebration was Darth Maul and Obi-Wan
And those were
from
cool ones.
Phantom Menace, which we were able to score, and they look awesome. But nothing announced for this celebration yet. It's a week and a half away.
Yeah. Wonder if they're keeping it all a surprise.
Yeah, maybe the day before. It's like, look at this cool stuff, and everybody goes crazy.
Yeah, right.
So we'll see. They haven't announced any Funko exclusive, I don't think.
Yeah, that surprised me too, because last year there were tons.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these chrome.
They had the blue chrome and like a Darth Maul and a droid R5, I think.
Yeah.
We scored those, but yeah, I mean, people love the exclusives. Half the experiences is stand in line for those and getting those.
Right.
So they better announce it and get people hype.
I mean, either way, as long as they have them.
Yeah. Yeah. And you do have to do the lottery format for the Funko booth as well as the Loungefly booth. So if you have a badge, you got to enter your email address, click the right link on their website, Celebration's website, to go to the right place to enter your email in, to enter a lottery drawing. And then it's only 1 week this week. So hopefully if you're watching it this week, you are able to do that. And they'll let us know if we get picked to be able to go buy exclusives at the Loungefly booth or the Funko booth or the panels. So
right.
I don't know. I can see why they're doing it, but at the same time, I'm not liking it.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that they're trying to limit the lines. Waiting hours to buy some Funko Pops is ridiculous. But at the same time,
if you don't get the chance at all, you're not getting it unless you're paying a huge premium for the eBay price.
Yeah. It's
not the same either.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not there getting it. So they got to still tweak that. They got to come up with a better middle ground for that.
I do like the idea of the lottery. Like you said, it takes out the lines and kind of gives a little bit of excitement.
Mm-hmm.
Like, am I going to get it or am I going to not? But I feel like there's got to be like another way beyond that as well. Like in addition to that, to be able to get them. I don't have any ideas.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, with the Funko Pops or the products, the exclusives, they just got to offer more of them. I mean, because being there in the first place is exclusive, right? There's how many more people can't make it for whatever reason, distance, money, time off work, all that stuff.
Yeah, there's so many people, and celebration tickets aren't cheap.
Right.
And everything else in addition to that.
Yeah. So if you're there, you're in an exclusive crowd, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say there's probably more than this, but let's say there's 5,000 people that go to Celebration each day. I'm sure it's more than that. But if they offer 4,000 figures that day, you're still good, right? You still have one of the top percent, and
Yeah.
so if you're into that, having the exclusive figures and all that, you're still in that crowd. But if you just like that figure or that design or whatever it is, you're still able to get it
Mm-hmm.
and not pay $500 for it later.
And even still, when you get the lottery, you still have to wait in the line.
Yeah, there's still a line. I don't know. Seems like they just need to offer more or have better processes.
Do it better. I don't know how,
Yeah,
but do it better.
Come on, Reed Pop. Yeah. But so it's different this time around. And I think for the panels, there's a pretty good chance people will get in because that if they use the same arena they did last time
It was huge.
There's plenty of, and there's like 2, maybe 3 tiers. There's the main floor, which is big, and then there's a bowl area, and then there's an upper level above that. And so there's tons of space. So you might not get up front, but I think you have a good chance of getting in there.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, this one's bigger than the Chicago stage, right? Or about the same
Not the
size.
same. I think the Chicago stage was it was a basketball court. It's where the DePaul Blue Devils play, and the WNBA team from Chicago plays. So you got that big basketball court. So the floor space is bigger, but the bowl area is about the same.
Gotcha.
Maybe a little bigger, but not by much. And even that was, I don't think they ever filled that. There was empty spots, I think.
Oh no, the bottom level was fairly full, but the upper level was like half filled.
Yeah, because we had to sit on the upper level for the Mandalorian one, and there were still a couple
Tons of seats.
empty seats. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about the panels. I just hope we get in. There are a couple. Let's see, what is it? Let's Play Star Wars: A Galaxy of Tabletop Games. That sounds interesting to me. I've played Star Wars Bounty Hunter. That's a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully they talk more about that type of thing. And then another one, Star Wars Trilogy in 30 Minutes. That's been around for a while. I think it's the original trilogy, and it's this one-man play, and he acts out the movies in all 3 of the movies like really quickly in 30 minutes. And I haven't seen him in person because the 1 or 2 times I was interested in going, it was full. The panel was full at previous celebrations, but he does have YouTube video or showing what he does, and it's pretty entertaining. Very fast paced and just kind of that slapstick sketch comedy type humor,
Right.
mixed in with the main storyline. So
Gotcha.
it was fun.
Yeah, I guess got to experience it then.
Yeah, if we have a chance to go.
Mm-hmm.
That's later. That's like at 6. So
Yeah, and I imagine less people will be there because that's around dinner time. So.
Yeah. Yep.
Something that interests me as well is the 35 years of Star Tours Adventures with D23.
Yeah.
For the longest time, Star Tours was the Star Wars ride.
Yeah, the only one, and it kind of wasn't that good towards the end.
Yeah.
Till they started to revamp it.
Yeah, it was the same ride every time.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, we went on it a million times because it's Star Wars.
It's like the only Star Wars fix you got.
Yeah, exactly. And then they updated it to the new expanded version of it where you pretty much get a different adventure every time, which I think is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it worth going every time, especially when a new movie is. I think, have they added anything from TV shows?
Not that I'm aware. They first changed it for the Force Awakens version.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the first time they changed it.
Yeah, they change it based on the movies that come out around that time, and they add more scenes to it, which was awesome and exciting to see.
Yeah.
Because I think around the Rise of Skywalker, they had one where you're in the Battle of Exegol,
Mm-hmm.
and that was cool.
Yep.
So that'll be a cool panel. It sounds like it will talk about, because I remember you and I were talking earlier that it might just be about the first iteration, but it says from the misadventures of Captain Rex to the unexpected new destinations of today, we trace the 35-year journey.
Mm-hmm.
So sounds like they're going to be talking about all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That should be good. And hopefully they reveal they're going to add some new stuff to it, because that was cool. Whenever Force Awakens came out and they added content, Last Jedi came out, they added content from that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing for Rise of Skywalker. I don't think we ever saw anything from Rogue One or Solo.
I don't think so either. I only remember 2 experiences specifically that were not from Force Awakens, which was the Battle of Crate and the Battle of Exegol.
Yeah. There's one where you visit one of the moons of Endor where the Death Star is, and you kind of go in some water and there's Dianogas everywhere.
Oh, right, yeah.
So there's that. But with Last Jedi, I only remember the Crate battle as well.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Force Awakens, there's a couple things, right?
Yeah.
So, but it was fun because you still don't know what you're going to get, because every time it could be something from the prequels, the sequels, the original, and then the different characters that carry the message. It's just so many mix and matches that it's just fun every time you go.
Yeah. Yeah, and even then too, like, you want to see some of those experiences again. So it's like they do it so well.
Mm-hmm.
They really mastered it this time.
Yeah. So hopefully they're able to keep that up. Maybe mix in some, I don't know what Mandalorian stuff they get added. There's not a lot of like space battles there, or with Book of Boba Fett, but
I imagine we'll see like if they were to add it, like a visit from the Mandalorian and his like Corvette,
yeah,
the Naboo starfighter, or
we got to see Grogu in there, maybe Yoda,
Grogu in his X-wing, and Luke's X-wing,
flying around. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So that one looks interesting as well. So that's pretty much the second day, day 2, Friday, May 27th. There are some after party stuff that day as well. The one we're going to, is that Star Wars After Dark?
Yeah.
Star Wars night?
Yeah, so that'll be at Disneyland. That's Friday night.
It's a Friday.
Where they have probably the coolest part of Disneyland, Galaxy's Edge. Well, they'll have all of Disneyland reserved for the tickets, but the majority of people are going to be at Galaxy's Edge doing Star Wars stuff, and I think that is going to be so cool. They're kind of lightening up on the guidelines for costumes and props you can bring in because of Star Wars Night and Star Wars Celebration. Normally, they don't let you bring in too much, because I think the reason is because they don't want to confuse any cast members with normal people, and vice versa. But this time they are lightening it up because of the occasion. So there's going to be lots of lightsabers, lots of Mandalorians, stormtroopers, clone troopers, everything, Jedi. Yeah, it's going to be sweet.
Yeah, there's a lightsaber meetup in front of the Falcon that night.
We're bringing ours.
We'll be there, taking pics, go on the Falcon ride, and do all that stuff. So get some blue milk.
Of course.
So it'll be fun. There's some other meetups going on throughout the week. There is probably the biggest one is the Bash, the 501st Bash. All the Star Wars clubs put on this bash for charity. So it's pretty expensive. It's like $100, $110 to get in, but portions of that go to charity. They pick a charity every time. But it's just this big party with all the Star Wars fans. The tickets are open to the public now, so if you're interested in that, so you can just go to their website and buy the tickets. Last I checked or saw, I think it was yesterday or the day before, they still have tickets available. But we won't be going to that this time. But there is a podcast meetup at the Hilton. There's Star Wars Underworld, Star Wars Celebration Day 1 after party at IHOP.
Nice.
There's the IHOP close by. There is, what else? There's the Troopers New Hope at 10 o'clock from the House of Blues, and Droid Builders Dinner at Buca di Beppo. There's the D23 Galactic Disco Night from 10 to 11. That's not very long. No, 8 to 10. at the House of Blues there. I think it's on the downtown Disney area.
Mm-hmm.
But that one sounds interesting, but I looked at that and I think that was ticketed only and you had to buy your ticket already. I saw it late or something.
House of Blues, that's the place where we always get the beignets, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so there's a lot of Star Wars after parties, meetups afterwards. So if you're wanting to hang out with some people afterwards and get to know some people, definitely start looking. A lot of the Facebook groups have them, listed as an event. Probably the biggest source of that information that I've found is there's this Facebook group called Flying Solo at Star Wars Celebration.
Mm-hmm.
I joined when I went to Celebration Orlando in 2017, I believe it was. I went by myself, so I joined that group, and ever since then they have a lot of cool stuff going on for people who go by themselves. So if you're going by yourself to Star Wars Celebration, join that group. There are lots of people who are friendly and just, hey, I'm doing this. Anybody else want to go? And it's a good opportunity. And they are listing events and things, so check that out if you haven't already.
Yeah, if you want more information than what we have, Facebook groups are the key, because that's just a bunch of people sharing everything they know. Mm-hmm. So listen to our podcast first, and then if you don't get your fix enough, then go to Facebook.
Yeah. There's a Star Wars there's like 10 Star Wars Celebration groups. It's hard to tell which one's the official one.
I'm in 5. Still can't figure it out.
Yeah. Tons of people are excited, posting stuff. You can go to rebelscum.com as well. In the forums, if you're not there already, they have a forum thread specifically for Star Wars Celebration. For everyone that comes out, there's one for it with all the different stuff that you can do, and just join in the conversation there. So a lot of great stuff. It'll be a good time. We'll have a lot of fun. Anything else for day 2 for Star Wars Celebration that you can think of?
Is day 2 when they have the Rebel Force radio?
No, it's Wednesday night.
Wednesday night. Okay.
Day 0.
Day 0. Okay.
I think I believe so. And then Thursday, we're doing something Thursday too. Maybe that's Rebel Force Radio. Anyway, we have the tickets with the date on it.
Cool.
So
yeah.
We'll be there. Yeah. So next time we'll talk about day 3, which is Saturday, May 28th. And we'll get into the panels there. They did release, I wanted to talk about it, but it's kind of too late. But I did want to touch on the Star Wars art that they released for Celebration. There was some pre-orders earlier this month that were released. And today was the last day to get one of those prints. A lot of cool prints from darkink.com. Maybe if there's any left over, they'll have them for sale afterwards. I know they do that sometimes. But a lot of the prints were pretty sweet. I've had to pause on my Star Wars prints because I have too many and I have no wall space. But there was a couple that I was looking at and I almost bought. Joe Caroni's Han Solo one from Solo, Han and Chewie and the Falcon. I almost pulled the trigger on that. I love his stuff, but I don't have anywhere to put it, so not this time. And there's a couple others that are really sweet. So, but yeah, I always check out Artist Alley at Star Wars Celebration. So if you like Star Wars art, check it out there as well. A lot of people, if you can't buy the exclusive print, that's you didn't pre-order and buy it, you didn't get on the list, oftentimes they have their other stuff there that's just as good, so definitely check that out.
Yeah.
But as far as day three goes, we'll get into that next time, review the different panels, talk about what's good, and we'll go from there. So I want to thank you guys for joining us here on the Credible Nerds Podcast, Star Wars Edition, Star Wars Celebration Edition. And we look forward to heading there in a week and a half, and hopefully we'll see you guys there, be able to meet you, talk to you, and just catch up, talk Star Wars, because that's always fun to do, especially at Celebration. I've met a lot of cool people throughout the years, and just kind of remain friends through the years and meet up again. So definitely look for us if we don't find you first. So thanks for joining us, and may the Force be with you.
Vote on, brothers.
Nice.